Who's the most powerful character in Rick and Morty? You already have an answer? Yeah, you're wrong. The show spent the whole series pointing you at the wrong fight. Skeptical, you're thinking Rick, or if you've done your homework, the other Rick, the one who deleted his own wife from every timeline that ever existed. Rick versus Rick Prime, the biggest fight in the show, and it's a trap. The most powerful being here isn't even in the room. He's quietly standing on the floor the room is built on. So here's the rule. Power is how many layers of reality you sit above, bottom to top. And the lowest thing in the story is the guy holding the launch codes. Level 1. Level 1 is the bottom layer. The character's reality happens to. So, Jerry. Jerry Smith is the purest specimen in the show. The universe has child-proofed this man. Rick rigs him with little hover shoes so he doesn't drift off the roof hanging Christmas lights. Saves his life, and Jerry won't even credit the guy.
If I survive, it'll be without you. And if I die, it'll be on your ass. Merry Christmas, bitch. I am the Jesus Christ of Christmas!
And in Morty Night Run, Rick doesn't take him on the adventure. No. He drops him at an interdimensional daycare. A daycare for Jerry's. A facility that exists across realities just to babysit a Jerry, and because a Jerry has to be contained for its own safety, like a house plant that votes. 0 layers under him. He is the floor.
Jerry!
Beth. Oh, come on. This is ridiculous.
I love you, Jerry!
Aw, Beth.
The most heavily armed character in the show goes on the same floor. General Nathan, the Pentagon guy from Get Swifty, whose answer to a planet-sized alien head in the sky is, paraphrasing slightly, have we considered nuking it? This man has launch codes, the single biggest weapon in this video, and he sits dead last. Dead last. Because firepower's juiced a thing you do inside reality. And his doesn't even work. Rick tells him to his face the Cromulon cannot be nuked. So Nathan nukes it. It fails. Obviously, it fails. Then he tries to coup the president and gets handled like a toddler reaching for a hot stove, and biggest gun, lowest layer. The weapon doesn't lift you. Level 2. Level 2 is where you do have power. Real people bow to you power, except it isn't yours. It's borrowed. Somebody else can yank the floor out the second the mood changes. Principal Vagina, that's the name, I'm not editorializing. That's Juiced, that's the name, is the first guy in town to throw out his entire religion the second the giant floating heads show up. Reads the room, rides the wave straight up to cult leader, and then his own followers strap balloons to him and launch him into the sky. His altitude lasted as long as their attention span. The Gromflamites, better version. Galactic Federation foot soldiers, canon spelling Gromflamites, an occupying army when they take over Earth in the Rickshank Rickdemption. And then Rick gets into their system and sets the Blem? Oh my god, what is that word? The Blemflark, their currency, to 0.
Changing a 1 to a 0.
And the entire occupation evaporates into screaming anarchy inside a day. Because an empire that runs on money is only as real as the money. An army that runs on credit is renting. And the landlord can be a guy in a lab coat who got bored. But some power makes its owner terrifying. No off switch in someone else's hand. That's where the climb starts. Level 3. Level 3 beings are genuinely get out of the way powerful. The Cromulons are the postcard. Planet-sized beings, the giant heads who disintegrate your planet with a plasma cannon if you lose their music competition. All of it inside the rules of their own game show. A god trapped in a bit. Mr. Meeseeks and destroy. Near indestructible, helpful, screaming.
Look at me! You make a request. Mr. Meeseeks, open Jerry's stupid mayonnaise jar.
Yes, sirree!
The Meeseeks fulfills the request.
All done!
Wow! And then it stops existing.
Bound by one rule, it cannot stop existing until the task is done, which is fine. Until Jerry asks one to take 2 strokes off his golf game, a task with no clean completion, and the power curdles into a homicidal nervous breakdown.
Mr. Meeseeks, I would like to take 2 strokes off my golf game.
Ooh, yeah! Can do!
Nailed it.
Mr. Needful, the devil, something Rick this way comes, manufactures genuinely cursed objects, but his power's conditional on you accepting the deal. So Rick reverse engineers all the curses for free and the devil goes bankrupt. A god, walled inside the fine print. And unity, autoerotic assimilation. A hive mind that runs a whole planet's worth of people as one will. Arguably more raw reach than Rick himself, but it's conditional on having hosts. Around Rick, it starts to relapse, lose control, and has to leave him to save itself. And now, quietly. The one I put here on purpose. Phoenix Person. Phoenix Person is Bird Person, Rick's oldest friend. Killed, then resurrected by the Federation as a cyborg. In Starmort, Rick Turn of the Jerry. And in a straight fight, this thing nearly disembowels Rick. The single most dangerous combatant Rick faces in Melee in the entire show. The deadliest. Quietly. And I'm putting it at level 3 on purpose. Here's why. Phoenix Person is remote controlled, a puppet, and it gets switched off mid-fight by Space Beth, who never lands a single punch. She just goes and finds the remote. Hold on to this. It's the whole video. The deadliest fighter loses because Space Beth doesn't punch it. She goes up a level to the remote. You don't outpower anyone in this show. You outlayer them. Level 4. Power that's actually yours. Level 4 is the first tier where the power is genuinely no asterisk yours. Summer, and I know how that sounds, putting Summer above a planet killer, so let me earn it. Summer has no portal gun, no genius, and that's the entire point. In the Roy arcade world, the full dive simulation, the place gets taken over by terrorists, and Summer just handles it. Solo, die hard mode. She also does a solo dive to retrieve Mr. Nimbus's shell. And here's the tell, Rick respects her. Rick, who treats most of reality as set dressing, treats Summer as an equal.
Summer is gonna dive into the Marianas Trench to recover the forbidden shell that gives him his power because Summer can be trusted.
And Mr. Nimbus. Excited. Okay, the king of the ocean, Rick's self-declared nemesis. Mort Dinner, Rick Andre. And the stupidly funny fact of it is that Rick is afraid of him. He negotiates with Nimbus rather than fight him because Nimbus controls the police, literally. He shows up and the cops start fighting each other and seducing each other and wandering off. It's incredible. Within his domain, he is total. And on land, he's a guy in a Speedo. The king of the ocean who cannot leave the water. Space Beth lives here too. The Beth variant, who went off to be a freelance galactic freedom fighter. She's the one who shut down Phoenix Person. She beat it by reaching a layer it couldn't. Though, fair's fair. Even she needs a bailout sometimes. The Grumbo Flowmite Queen, canon spelling Grumbo Flowmite, where she needs the save, real power, hers, and still inside one reality. Level 5, the Layer Crossers. These beings don't own a layer. This is where Rick finally shows up. Rick C-137, the one you came here for, the definitive layer crosser, moves between infinite universes at will with a gun in his pocket. He built a working universe inside a car battery to charge his car in The Ricks Must Be Crazy, a whole reality nested inside his as a power source. He beat death with Operation Phoenix backup clones. He dismantled a galaxy-spanning government from inside a prison cell for fun on a coffee break. And hold this. This is the seed of the whole climb. Rick keeps brushing up against the layers above him. He keeps banging his head on a ceiling the show is very quietly putting there. We're gonna need that. Zeep Sandfloor proves Rick isn't even special at it. Zeep is the scientist Rick created inside that car battery microverse. And Zeep, refusing to be a power source, builds his own nested world, the Miniverse. And the scientist Zeep creates builds a third, the Teenyverse. Microverse, Miniverse, Teenyverse. A staircase of realities inside realities. The nesting trick isn't Rick's gift. It's just what level 5 does. And Snowball. Snuffles originally. He renames himself Snowball. The dog picks the better name. The family dog from Lawnmower Dog, who gets an intelligence helmet and breaks the food chain, builds a mech, raises a dog army, stands over a conquered humanity, and he spares us, leaves to found a dog planet out of love for Morty. Snowball deserved better. Honestly, he did. So that's the Travelers. They cross reality, they nest it, but they move through reality. None of them rewrites it, and that gap is the door into level 6. Level 6, the Rule Deleters. Level 6 is where you stop traveling reality and start editing it. Evil Morty goes here. And before you type it, if you watched a certain other video, you know where everybody wants to put him. We're not doing that. Here's why he's not even the top of this tier. Evil Morty weaponized being unremarkable. He framed a Rick for 27 Rick murders. Through eye patch puppeteering, a conspiracy run like a marionette. He took the Citadel presidency by letting every Rick underestimate him. And then he did the thing no Rick in Infinity ever managed. He escaped the central finite curve. The wall the Ricks built around their slice of the multiverse, so a Rick is always the smartest thing inside it. He walked out and closed the door behind him. An edit to the geometry of the show's reality. But And this is the whole argument. The layer he climbed into is still inside the show. He escaped the curve into more multiverse, still a character. He even stole the Omega device schematics, which means even evil Morty was reaching for someone else's bigger edit. He climbed a layer. He didn't climb off the page. And then there's the man you've been screaming at me about since the cold open. Rick Prime, Unmore-Trickin. He invented portal travel first, before our Rick, before any Rick. And he built the Omega device, the single most terrifying object in the franchise. A weapon that erases a target from every timeline across infinity at once. Not kills them, erases them. As if they were never born in any reality ever. And he used it on Diane, his own wife, our Rick's wife. Deleted her from all of existence forever, then spent decades casually evading the most dangerous man in the multiverse, who wanted nothing on Earth but to find him. That is the highest in-story power in Rick and Morty. Not crossing realities, editing reality itself from the source across all timelines. It took the entire top of the ladder to put him down. Rick C-137 and Morty and Evil Morty, disabling his healing field, deleting his backups just to finally kill him in Unmore-Trickin. He is as high as you can climb and still be a character. And I had Rick Prime locked in too. I was so sure. One more minute though, because every one of those three, Rick, Evil Morty, even Rick Prime editing all of reality, is still a character. Inside the story. The Omega device edits the universe. It does not edit the narrative. Rick Prime can erase Diane from every timeline that ever was. He cannot erase himself from the script. In fact, watch, the script erases him. There's a layer above editing reality. The layer that contains reality. The way a book contains the people inside it. And exactly one being in this show lives there. Level 7. Level 7 isn't the strongest. It's the rule the whole video was built to land. His name is Story Lord. Never Rick and Morty, Season 4, Episode 6. Voiced. Okay, drop this at a party, watch the eyes, by Paul Giamatti. Story. Lord runs the story train. He's the conductor. The story train is a literal narrative engine, an anthology train where passengers tell tales about Rick. Storylord doesn't manipulate matter or timelines or the multiverse. He manipulates story. In his reality, continuity is oxygen. A physical resource, you can run out of it. Rick literally uses a tank of continuity as a shield against the train guards. Storylord feeds on narratively connected, canonical, marketable story potential. He captures Rick and Morty and plans to harvest their story potential to break the fifth wall. The one past even the show. So sit with the layers. The entire multiverse, every Rick, every timeline, the central finite curve, the Omega device, Diane, all of it. Scoffs to Story Lord. That's just content. He's the layer that contains the thing Rick Prime can only edit, the closest being to the writer's room. And here comes the objection. But Rick beats him on screen, so how is he number 1? Impactful. That's not the hole in the argument. That's the proof of it. Story Lord sits on top of the story, so Rick can't beat him with a gun or a portal or the smartest plan in the multiverse, because every one of those happens inside the story, on his home turf. The only way Rick wins is to climb to Story Lord's lair. He breaks the fourth wall. He starves the guy of connected story, fills the anthology with disconnected, non-canon junk, a detour about Summer and Beth fighting scorpions, anything that won't link up. And then he does the most out-of-character thing imaginable. He sincerely prays to Jesus Christ, a literal deus ex machina, Jesus descending out of the sky, the most narratively illegal move possible. And it overpowers Storylord because the master of narrative cannot survive a story that refuses to be a story. Rick had to leave the story's reality to win. That's not Storylord getting dethroned. That's the proof of where the throne sits. And even then, Rick doesn't kill him. You can't kill the layer above reality. The best he can do is shove him into a corner and run. Storylord is exiled, not destroyed, stranded in every writer's hell. The Bible. The one narrative that isn't canon. And Rick runs. So, power is how many layers of reality you sit above. Rick Prime sat above all of reality and was still inside the book. And Storylord sat above the book. Now think about what we just did. We just spent all this time building a tidy, connected, canonical argument about who's the most powerful character in a story. And we decided it's the guy who controls stories. the one who feeds on exactly this. Connected, canonical, marketable narrative about Rick and Morty, structured into 7 nice clean layers, building to a satisfying reveal, with a callback that pays off in everything. You know what this video is, right? Tell me where I'm wrong, by the way, genuinely. Down in the comments, who's above Storylord, if anyone is. I want to hear it. Because I think the honest answer is the layer above this one is just the people watching, which is you, which is that still rolling? Okay, cut it, cut. Guys, I think we cooked with this one. This is Morty fiction. There's way more coming, you already know.